During the Battle of Yuji in 1180, the monks of Kôfukuji and Tôdaiji temples dispatched a force to assist Machihito, though their arrival was belated. This incident greatly infuriated Taira Kiyomori. Initially, Kiyomori sought to form a political alliance with the Gakusho, the scholarly priests of these temples, in the hope that they could control their unruly Sohei warriors. However, by the time he attempted negotiations, it was already too late. In response to Kiyomori's overtures, the monks didn't just decline politely, they went so far as to beat the messenger and forcibly shave his head as a sign of disrespect. The messenger returned to the capital, visibly shaken and humiliated by the monks' actions. To compound the insult, the Nara Sohei created a large wooden effigy that they mockingly called the head of Kiyomori. They then kicked this effigy around in the temple courtyard, further demonstrating their contempt for Kiyomori's authority and the Taira clan's rule. This incident exemplified the deep-seated resistance and defiance of the warrior monks, who were not willing to bend to Kiyomori's attempts at control or compromise. Despite the provocations, Kiyomori continued to exercise caution and sent a delegation of 500 samurai with strict orders not to resort to violence. However, the monks wasted no time and immediately attacked the delegation. They captured around 60 of the samurai and beheaded them, placing their heads on display around the pool of Sarusa, located opposite the southern gate of the Kôfukuji temple. In response to this violence, a full-scale attack on Nara was launched, with command entrusted to Taira Shigehira, a battle-hardened veteran of the Yuji conflict. Shigehira, though experienced, had a reputation for being prone to fits of rage, a trait that seemed to be affecting his father, Kiyomori, as well. The monks in Nara recognized the imminent danger they faced and began preparations to defend their temples. A formidable force of 7,000 monks, consisting of both warrior monks and scholar priests, gathered to protect their sacred grounds. They dug defensive ditches across the roads and erected palisades as barriers. Meanwhile, the monk archers took positions behind large wooden shields, ready to unleash their deadly volley. Most of the monks were prepared to fight on foot. The mounted samurai repeatedly charged at the well-prepared defenders, but were consistently repelled, enduring fierce resistance until nightfall. The monks drew inspiration from a valiant priest named Yagaku, known for his immense strength and courage. He was even said to have worn 2 suits of armor, one over the other, highlighting his exceptional dedication to the defense of their sacred temple. As darkness fell, Taira Shigehira decided to employ one of the most devastating weapons in the samurai arsenal, fire. While the use of arson had been seen before, it was a risky tactic, and Shigehira must have been aware of the dangers. He ordered some of his men to dismantle wooden shields to create torches, which they then used to set fire to buildings outside the temple's gate. This occurred at around 5 p.m., and with the wind changing directions, the flames quickly spread throughout the temple complex, leaping from one structure to another, engulfing storehouses, pagodas, and bell towers. As narrated in the Heike monogatari, those who were too old to flee and unattached laymen, along with children and girls who hoped to save themselves, sought refuge in the upper story of the Daibutsu, also known as the Hall of the Great Buddha of Tôdaiji. Desperate to escape their pursuers, they pulled up the ladders behind them to prevent the enemy from following. However, the flames advanced more rapidly, engulfing the temple building. The scene was one of unspeakable horror, with a cacophony of cries and lamentations that surpassed even the agony of sinners in the fieriest depths of hell, such as Tapana, Pratapana, and Avicii, described as the most dreadful of the 8 hot hells. The devastating consequences of the conflict were profound, as both the Kôfukuji and the Tôdaiji, often referred to as the Great Eastern Temple, were reduced to ashes. The Tôdaiji, once a source of immense pride for Emperor Shamu over 4 centuries earlier, suffered a heartbreaking loss. Within the Tôdaiji temple complex stood a colossal statue of Vairochana Buddha, crafted from copper and gold. This magnificent statue had a towering dome-like head that reached into the clouds, and it bore a sacred jewel on its lofty forehead. However, the intense heat of the fire caused the statue to melt and deform, with its distinctive features collapsing onto the temple floor, while the body turned into a shapeless mass. The destruction witnessed during this event was truly unparalleled, leaving a lasting mark in history. Even the natural world seemed to mourn the tragedy, as the dew on Mount Kasuga changed its color, and the wind blew mournfully across Mount Mikasa. These descriptions highlight the immense scale of destruction, and the profound impact on the cultural and religious heritage of Japan. The The loss of these temples and their sacred artifacts was a tragic moment in the nation's history, evoking a sense of irreversible devastation. The fire resulted in a staggering death toll, with approximately 3,500 people losing their lives. Amidst this widespread destruction, only the Shoso Inn, which served as Emperor Shamu's imperial storehouse, managed to escape the flames and continues to stand to this day as a historic relic of that era. The aftermath of the attack was further marked by the grisly display of the heads of 1,030 monks who had perished during the assault. These severed heads were either exhibited on the temple gate as a gruesome spectacle or transported back to Kyoto as trophies, serving as macabre reminders of the violence that had taken place. Months later, when it came time to conduct important religious ceremonies and services, a troubling situation unfolded. Not a single priest could be found within the entirety of Nara. This dire absence of clergy in Nara spoke volumes about the devastating consequences of the conflict, as it had decimated the religious community and its institutions. The attack on Nara had not only resulted in the loss of life and cultural heritage, but had also disrupted the region's religious practices and institutions, leaving a void that would take time to recover from.